Okay, it is like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, I wanna talk about something, especially with recently Doom releasing with basically just nothing on the disc. There's like 13 megabytes or something on the disc. I've seen a couple different posts about how many megabytes specifically, but basically the game doesn't exist on the disc. What that disc is doing is prompting a download to happen, and basically the disc is just acting as the license to get and play that download. And at that point, I kind of start to wonder, like, what's the point of buying the physical item if there's nothing in there? And same thing with these like Nintendo card keys. I don't want that. I don't understand the point of that. It's just a downloadable chip. Like, you just put the chip in, it's a license to download the thing. You're still gonna have to have the chip in the system, I assume, to play the digital download that you just downloaded. It becomes completely meaningless. Like, yeah, sure, you could sell your cartridge if that's what you're worried about, I guess, and you could sell that disc if that's what you want to do, and that license will go to someone else. So you are holding the license by having the physical item. I get that, and that's cool. You know, you can trade it. They did allow, Nintendo's now allowing like digital trading to go on, which was kind of an interesting feature. I think siblings or neighborhood kid friends will probably use that. I will probably never ever use that feature, but I do think it is cool. It's interesting to say the least. But when you think about this long term, what I'm concerned about mostly is like, how long are these downloads going to be able to be downloaded? We are completely trusting and relying on these companies to allow us to have access to that content for so long. Okay. We've seen stores shut down before, taking all the IP that was only available on that store during that time from some companies that aren't around anymore, taking all that IP and just kind of crushing it into oblivion, and there it goes. And you'll never get to buy that again unless you were fortunate enough to have purchased it already, which you could now still download. They're not going to stay open forever. I understand. It costs them money, it costs them time, and it becomes a security risk, which is why they stopped letting credit card payments go through on the PlayStation Network. I get it. I'm not saying that they should keep them open forever, because I know that their job too is not game preservation, right? But I feel like we should have some sort of rights to these files that we purchased. Instead of leaving it up to them to be the custodians of it, we should be able to be the custodian of our own digital files. And we're like slowly losing that. I remember back on my PSP, like I could put the files on my PSP that were on my PSP and put them on my computer. And then I could put them back on my PSP to play them. And I was doing that. I had a house, you know, the home computer, the family computer, and I had a lot of games just dumped onto there as a kid, because if I bought anything digitally, which was pretty rare, I thought it was cool to just back it up on the computer. I felt like some sort of like I was doing something technical and it was cool, but besides the point. But how long are these companies going to allow us to download our purchases? And that's what I'm concerned about. And when we're seeing more and more of this trend of like digital consoles, and then like, oh, okay, we'll sell a disc drive separate.
Look, it's some sort of amulet.
Is the PlayStation 7 and whatever the next Xbox is, are those going to just be completely discless? Because we have discless console and a console with a disc, and I think they're going to start phasing one of them out, even though I think that the consumer would much prefer to keep the disc. So I think they're like testing out these card keys, and they're testing out this disc with just a license on it and a requirement for the internet so that you can download the game, which again is a requirement that that game is available to be downloaded. We'll get to that. But I feel like they're testing that out to see like what people are okay with. I hope that people are not okay with completely digital. I think a lot of us are not okay with completely digital. It's against game preservation. It's against having the right to your own purchased product. Like Pokemon Blue. I bought this when I first came to Japan. It's in the box. And it has the map, which is pretty cool. I can still play this. I can still just boot it up and play it like it just came out, put it in my Game Boy, play it on the train, pop that out, pop in my Game Boy camera. It's still good to go, okay? And repairs can be made. It's a cartridge, so it's a little bit different than a disc. But what I'm saying is I bought these things and I can keep them. I have Harry Potter over here. Like, I can keep them and I can play them for as long as they'll work. There's nothing I can do about getting Pokemon Blue back if 20 years ago they used to have the store and then they just shut it down and I was like, cool, I want to go play Pokemon Blue. Well, you can't because it was all digital and the stores are closed. See what I'm saying? Like, we're heading into a really weird future where we're going to lose that. That's going to go away. And it's not just the fact that I'm a collector and like the physical item. I know that that's mine, okay? When everything goes digital, you have to trust that these companies have your back and are going to be the custodian of your digital files, your digital games for you, because you can't really back those up yourself. You can't really keep them yourself. You kind of can, in some ways, especially like the older systems, like my Vita can hook up to the computer and back it up there, although that program is kind of outdated and doesn't even work on a Mac. So my PSP kind of can, I can back it up to my PS3, but eventually when these things break and I lose those files, in 10 years, am I still going to be able to re-download them? Are they really gonna let us download our purchases from 2006, 2007, when it's 2035? I don't think so. I don't see that. I don't think that that's gonna happen. I think that they're gonna say, okay, well, we gotta save space. You know, get your games, download them to your systems. It's gonna shut down on this day. And these purchases made before the PS4 or something are going to be all gone. And I know we haven't seen it happen yet, but it's gonna happen. I mean, think about these card keys with Nintendo, right? Or the recent Doom release. There's been other discs too, where there's just no data of the game on there. There's not even, like, give me the version 1, at least. Give me the release version on the disc. You went through the trouble to make and manufacture and print these discs. And a game case, you can't just put like version 1 on there. I understand needing an update, but like I can't have like the basic vanilla version of the game on the disc. Is that too much to ask? Like what is going on? Like, people were talking about the card keys and how basically the games that are card keys are cheaper to make and hold less data, or less powerful, right? I understand that these companies want a cost cut. I get it. I know that when they go fully digital, those prices ain't gonna come down. The digital store, like, it's $60 for a game in person, it's $60 for a game digitally. The prices are not gonna drop. That's just gonna be how it is. And if I'm paying for a card key, is there any guarantee legally? Is there any guarantee that these keys and these discs with no game actually in it are still gonna let me download that in 10, 20 years? Harry Potter. Great PlayStation 1 game, classic. Okay, picked it up online, played this as a kid, didn't own it. Great game, okay? I got to replay this because I bought the disc, but if we go all digital, I can't do that. I can't just pick up an old game. I would have to buy it from their stores, and if they don't have the game there anymore, it's just gone, right? So then legally, right? I'm talking about all legal ways to acquire video games. So with these card keys and these discs, if I buy that, 20 years later, I buy that, is that still gonna work? Is that gonna give me a download, or is it just gonna say like, oh, sorry, this is, error not found. Error, can't connect to server, can't connect to network, file not found, whatever. So then the disk just becomes trash? Like, then what was the point of making the disk, right? So I don't know that there's a way for like people who want control over their files to win without some sort of like legal standing that says that we maintain control of the files that we're purchasing on these marketplaces. Because like, I think this, if I buy a digital PlayStation 5 game, I should be able to take that digital game's files, put it on my computer. Personally, I think I should be able to play it on the computer if I want to, but I understand not being able to. But I should at least be able to take that file and keep custody of it because I'm the one that purchased it. I understand it's a license and I don't own the game, right? Like I don't own the rights to redistribute that game. But why can't I back that up myself and take care of it myself? Because I could just download all my games and store them myself, and it would save these companies money because they don't have to run the servers for 50 years as we all play them until we're gone. It would be so much better if I could just take care of the file myself. And then when they go, hey, we're shutting down the servers, get your games by June 5th. Then I'll be like, cool. And I'll just make sure everything's downloaded and I'll take those files and put them on a hard drive. And then I have a forever backup that I can take care of. Maybe it only works with systems that I'm signed in with. Again, I have to connect to their servers on that system for that to register. So there needs to be some sort of a permanent key that I can get, whether it's physical and I plug it into my console or something that would prove that I'm the owner of those files, therefore I can play them on the system, and I don't need to connect to the internet for that. Will it get hacked? Probably. But what are you gonna do about that? Everybody's gonna hack their old consoles anyway. They're old. When we're buying stuff with the risk of losing access to it completely, it just makes me wonder, why are we even buying it? What are we doing? And I'm so worried about not even just the games industry, but even like the movie industry. I mean, everybody's streaming and buying digital movies these days. I myself haven't bought a physical movie in quite some time. Again, I live in Japan, so here's a trick with that, even with games or movies. There's like region differences in some titles and with movies and games that I don't really want to deal with. So I end up just being kind of like, I guess I'll get digital. And then that kind of adds to maybe the problem. But I know people who only buy digital because they're just like, I don't need physical and this is way too convenient, so I'll just get digital. I'm like, well, what happens when you lose access to those files? Like, I have a PS3 over here, which you can't really see. And I got gifted that recently, and it was great because I actually needed it to get my PlayStation 1 games off the PlayStation Network. I've bought a lot of digital games over the years, and I wanted to keep those files myself, okay? Now they got them all locked down and everything on there, but at least I was able to download it still. Someday they're not gonna let you download it, and I'll lose access to Crash Bandicoot 1 from the PSN. I just don't know how we win this without some sort of legal standing. And I hope to see that happen someday without it causing like massive issues. But I think it will come down to a point at some point in time. At some point in time, it's going to come to a pressure point or a boiling point or something, and something's going to happen. Somebody's going to get very mad about the loss of like thousands of dollars of games or just digital purchases in general that they have made that they now no longer have access to because the system just decided to shut off or they decided to wipe it. It's old. Nobody's doing that. What's his name said, nobody's playing Gran Turismo 1. Dude, I play Gran Turismo 1. There's plenty of people that like to take a look back at the old game library. But that's my worries. I know right now we can still download everything, but someday I think that they're going to close that future. We're not going to be able to download it. The systems won't be able to reach the internet in order to verify that we actually own that product. And all of those things like PSPs, Vitas, whatnot, they're going to have to get hacked in order to just gain access to our own files that we purchased. And it's going to be a mess. For most people, they're not going to do it. They're going to go, oh, my Vita doesn't work anymore. It doesn't connect to the internet, which is really lame. What a waste of money. And it will just become a brick to them. Again, there will be people out there that will do some wizardry on these systems and allow us all to regain access to our files when that happens. But it's a shame that we have to go to those lengths in order to get that done, in order for us to keep ownership of the things that we're purchasing. But that's probably how it's going to be until something changes and until they're forced, I think, to give us access to those files or to have a permanent unlock key. But they have to do it in a way that protects them from piracy. So I think it'll be a weird road in the future, but it's not going to get taken anytime soon, I think. It's not going to happen until they have to take away the right to download our purchases, and then from there, I think something will happen. But until then, I think we're about to get a ton of empty discs and key cards, card keys, and that isn't cool. But what do you think about this? Are you gonna buy or not buy a game if it's a card key card? Not really sure which one it is in my head now. Are you gonna buy these games? When you see a game like Doom, Dark Ages on PS5 and it comes out and the disc is basically empty. Indiana Jones, I think, was the same. Are you interested in purchasing the physical edition still, or are you going to just say, you know what, never mind, the box is cool, but no thanks, I'll just buy the digital copy? Because like for me, like I don't sell and trade my games, right? So you would think that I would love to just have the digital version, but personally, I'd rather have the physical basically every single time. Digital's nice, but not having ownership to the file or the physical media is something I think that more people should be concerned about. But what do you think? Are you concerned about it like I'm concerned about it and a bunch of other people are? Let me know in the comments, and yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Just these new games that are coming out with nothing in them, game carts with nothing in them, download keys that who knows how long it's going to be supported and when that's going to go away. And this move into a fully digital console and fully digital computer gaming environment. And this also relates to movies. I mean, movies going streaming platform only, and you just have to you have to subscribe to the streaming platform to get the movie. You can't just buy it. We're losing a lot more than we're gaining. We're gaining the convenience, but we're losing a lot. And think about with movies too. It's like they're digital or they're streaming, and they can swap scenes and change things out and change text. They can do whatever they want to that. Same thing with digital books, right? So they can change that, and you might not even notice. Most people probably won't notice or even know that there was a change. Maybe they didn't know the movie or a book or a game in the first place before the change happened. And you won't know any better because you don't have the original version. If you have the movie when it released, that's what you got. And then when they change it later, then you can compare the two versions. I think we all need to understand that when everything goes digital, you don't own anything, and it's completely out of your control what happens to it, when you're allowed to access it, how long you're allowed to access it. And when that happens, I think people are going to be pretty upset. Rightfully so. I mean, I probably wouldn't refrain from buying anything, right? I mean, I still want to enjoy my favorite hobby, which is gaming, but I don't know. I don't know that that's the way that we want to allow things to go. What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think it's like not that big of a deal? Do you think that they'll support downloading it forever? Do you think that these are kind of a waste of money and not worth purchasing if it's just an empty physical media? What do you guys think about those digital deluxes as well that are like increasingly coming with just a digital download key and then like a bunch of like knickknacks? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool, I guess, if you're like a really big fan of that series, at least you get the knickknacks, but we need the disc. And if discs are getting to the point where it is an unnecessary cost and difficulty in production, and we go fully digital, I just want us to be able to have access to the files. I have spent many weekends making sure that I have access and own my files. Okay? So I want everybody who, maybe those who aren't so tech savvy or something like that, to be able to gain access and keep their files indefinitely. Because I think it's important. You purchased it. I know that the companies can say it's just a license, but you did purchase something, and I think you should be able to keep it. Like I've been able to keep so many of these PlayStation games. I have like a wall in America of PlayStation games. And I can still play and enjoy them whenever I want to. And I take care of them. What do you guys think about this? Do you think we're heading into kind of a problematic future with this? Or do you think it's just not that big of a deal and people should relax? All right, cool. And also, last question. Do you think digital games should cost the same as physical games? Physical games releasing $80, but should the physical version also be $80? But if it's cheaper, then do they lose money on the physical version because then nobody wants to pay $20 extra? I would pay a little bit extra to keep physical, but I don't know. What do you guys think? All right. And well, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about that. And make sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video where we'll talk about another topic, news, or another game specifically. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.